Welcome to Coffee Hour number 2, Instagram. Alright, so as you guys know, if you've been following behind me on both channels, I lost my nephew last Sunday in a motorcycle crash. So I want to talk to y'all a little bit about this motorcycle stuff, because a lot of people don't know about bikers and bike life and stuff like that. Something all bikers know, whether it be a dirt bike or a street bike, all bikers know that slowing a bike down is a hell of a lot different than slowing down a car. See, what you guys who drive cars don't understand, and I drive cars, I do not ride motorcycles, and in my childhood I dabbled with a couple of dirt bikes. In any situation with a motorcycle, 45 on a motorcycle is like 100 in a car. Alright? And let me explain the differential of that if you guys can get past the background noise. When you're on a bike, the average bike, depending on whether it's a street bike or a dirt bike, weighs at least 115 to 120 pounds. It just depends on the bike. Depends on the design, depends on the weight, depends on a lot of different variables, plus pilot. Alright, yes, I call them a pilot, because you don't really drive a bike, you basically pilot a bike. Because if you know anything about piloting or anything about driving a bike, your gas is over here, your clutch is over here, and I think your brake is up here or it's over here. I can't really remember at this moment. It doesn't really matter. But you also have a foot brake. And if you're on a street bike, you definitely have a foot brake. Not so sure about dirt bikes these days, because designs have been changed over the years. But for street bikes, you have a foot brake and a hand brake. And sometimes you have to slow the bike down, but you also have to shift gears to slow down a bike. It's just like driving a stick shift car. You have to break it down. But when you are on a motorcycle of any kind, it is a whole lot more difficult to slow that bitch down. It's not going to stop on a dime, especially if it's a crotch rocket or a sports bike where it's nothing but speed behind the damn thing. And so when you are riding out here with car drivers, yeah, a motorcycle can go where cars can't. The problem is people who drive cars can't always see motorcycles. And when you are on a motorcycle, you basically are on a bullet. And as for all things military, a bullet does not stop until it hits its target or something solid gets in the way. Otherwise, a bullet will travel for at least a mile, maybe more. Depends on what rifle the bullet comes out of. A high-power rifle can shoot a bullet damn near 2 miles. As long as nothing's in its way, that bullet will keep going until it hits something. So that's why you have to check your firing target and all that crap, or you're going to be ruining somebody's day. On a motorcycle, when you're on a motorcycle, how much you weigh is also a factor. If you're only like 120 pounds like me, your bike's going to be a little bit faster because you don't weigh that much. A bike doesn't weigh much while it's moving. When you're sitting down at a stop sign, bike's anywhere between, like I said, 115, 120 pounds. That's just a bike. Not counting the pilot. That's just a bike. But when that bike moves, that bike doesn't weigh but maybe 2 to 10 pounds while it's moving. Because you're riding in a wind tunnel that keeps you balanced and you're straight and you're not wibbly-wobbly. So like when you see racing bikes and they lean into the turn, it's easier for them to lean into the turn and turn the wheel just a little bit versus try to turn the whole damn thing. The front panel and the front assembly of the handlebars is designed only to go yay so far. That's why when you park your bikes, if it falls to one way or the other, you see that it doesn't completely go all the way under or all the way out. As for, your speed is increased by how little you weight. If your weight, like I said, if you weigh like me, I'm 120 pounds. So if you're like on a 400 or a 200, you're basically riding a 600. Because I weigh small because I am small. And that's a small bike. But when you're on like a 800 or a 600 or something really big like the Jigsaw, you're on a speeding bullet. And that cannot be stopped on a dime. Just like most cars, you can't stop a car on a dime. Some of them you can nowadays, but most cars you still got to slow that damn thing down. So you got to take your hand and your foot off the clutch and the brake is where your foot needs to be maintained down. I got my words twisted. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, you get what I'm saying if you're not a driver car. Now, if you're not Ubering, you know, even your Uber driver knows that you lift off the gas and put on the brake. If you drive a stick, you take your foot off the gas, put your foot on the brake and the clutch, and you shift down a gear. If you're in fifth, you shift to fourth, or you'll shift to third. Most likely, you best be shifting to fourth so that you don't rev up your engine and pick up more power. So, to do that on a bike takes a whole lot more than what you think, because you have to operate your left foot and either your left hand or your right hand at the same time. You have a foot brake on your right side, so you have to work on that versus your handbrake, and you have to work both of them all at the same time as you're breaking this thing down, because when you're on a bike, it's a speeding bullet. Please be mindful of people on bikes. Look out for them, because they have no safety on this thing. They have no way of stopping on a dime. Thanks for watching.